next 30 seconds, but I told him about Propy. And so I'm hoping that within the next 30 days, we're going to list probably like 4 of his houses on Propy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they can be optioned to be sold as through crypto if the opportunity is there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So Gabrielle, is it Gabby or Gabrielle?
You can call me Gabby.
Okay. So hey guys, I think it's 106, Propy 106, our 106th webinar. Really excited. We have our Florida latest NFT home buyers, Gabby and Ryan Chanel, on the webinar with us today. They are movers and shakers in the Tampa Bay area. They're all over, traveling the globe, doing their thing. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So a lot of people are interested in the NFT. Who bought it? Why they buy it? How was the process? There's a lot to unpack here. So let's just start off with how did you first find out about the NFT sale? I know you're familiar with the area, but just kind of walk us through that aspect.
So I actually saw the home going through the process, and I had said to Gabby, this is the home and that we really need for our inventory. And she goes, well, it's crypto only. And so I said, well, I really don't know anything about crypto, but I'm sure there's a way that we can make something happen. So then Gabby, I basically threw it on her to go out and find what the process was or what we needed to do to start this ball rolling to get the unit.
Okay. Then Gabby, you found it, you reached out to us, we kind of helped you set up your wallet. How was that process? Was it harder than you thought, easier than you thought?
It was actually very simple to set up the MetaMask wallet. When I was first researching it, and I did think, I was like, oh, geez, I have no idea how to do this. This is going to be a pain. But literally within 30 seconds, I had my MetaMask wallet set up. I have my key. They give you a key of phrases so you can get into. Yes, correct. Yeah. So it was very simple. I put the app on my phone. I attached it in my browser. It was super, super simple to set up. Yeah,
we think so too. And then, so you look at so did you guys tour the property before you put an offer in on it?
We did. We toured it. Plus, we went through all the documents that were uploaded in Propy. So the home inspection was in there. What else was in there? The home inspection. There was some other stuff in there. I can't remember what it was. Comps. There was comps in the area that was in there. Yeah, there was a bunch of useful information. Of course, people that aren't realtors, if they were interested in purchasing an NFT, at least the information is there. Fortunately, we're realtors, so we knew a lot about it, especially about the area because we know the area well. But yeah, it was very, very interesting.
I think what also was a big help, Adam, was the fact that as we did not know anything, your team put us in the right direction with the people overseas that actually did the KYC on us, as well as you guys. And the response times, even being overseas, just was remarkable.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Gabby passed the KYC flying colors. Ryan had a lot of stuff we had to clean up on his background from his days down at the University of Miami playing baseball, but we got through.
Well, that's why we just took me off.
Him and Michael Irvin were hanging out in Coral Gables. There's a lot to unpack there, but it's too short of a webinar to cover that. So you find the property, you say, okay, it's sold as an NFT. What the hell is an NFT? I got to set up a MetaMask account. We're taking traditional funds, transfer them to crypto. You guys use Coinbase for that, right?
No, we actually used we did an OTC, the over-the-counter transaction, which was super, super helpful. It was super efficient. The whole team with Autonomy, who facilitated the exchange into U.S. Digital currency, they were fabulous. I mean, they would respond within seconds. They got the information to me as I needed it. Anything they needed, I got to them. And within literally after they had all the information in it, they did the KYC on me. I sent them the wire. Within 2 hours of them having the wire, the money was in my MetaMask wallet.
Good. So yeah, that's okay. That's good that you went that route. Excellent. It's really not that hard. I mean,
No.
It's not,
basically a cash deal with digital cash, right?
Yes.
yes,
Correct.
and I think, for most first-time crypto buyers, the fear and concern that even when we speak to our friends is, how did you do this based on the fact that these currencies they fluctuate by 10, 15, 20%, and they don't understand that
USDC is a stable coin. It doesn't, it doesn't fluctuate. So you're good. You're fine.
yeah. So, it's very difficult trying to explain all that and go through that process with them.
Well, the good thing, Ryan, is if they ask you, you can bring Gabby and she'll answer the question for you, apparently. So
That's right.
I bring Gabby everywhere. I should say I drive her everywhere so that she does the interview. I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah. Well, that is funny. The stable coin, I was just talking to a broker at lunch today. The stable coin really is going to impact real estate in a really positive way because the volatility of even traditional, OG cryptos, even 3, 4, 5%. If you put $1 million into an account, want to buy $1 million condo, and it goes up or down 5 or 7%, people won't complain when it goes up. But if you lose 7% just sitting in an escrow a few hours before it goes to close, that's a lot of money, $7,000. And so the stable coin is really going to impact that in a positive way. And, the stable coin transfer will be the new ACH down the road and without the fees, which is really interesting. So auction day, it's a long auction process. So you put the bid in. You guys were lucky that there's only one other bidder, but that was but even that process is probably still a lot easier than just putting a traditional offer in and waiting for it to come back with either rejection or that process. So walk me through the kind of that day. It was pretty quick for you guys.
Yeah, it was very quick. So we made the initial offer, I think within 2 or 3 hours after the auction started. And then I would say literally 24 I'm sorry, not 24 hours, because that's when the sale ended. Probably about 18 hours later, another offer came in. And of course I was able to see it right away. I was watching. I was trying to play it right because I'm like, I really want this unit. We really need it for our corporate housing business. So I wanted to play it safe. I waited till about the last, I would say 40 to 30 minutes before I put in my next offer. And then once the clock ran out, that was it. I was jumping for joy.
Well, you owned a new unit for your portfolio.
Yes.
And just for those watching later on, every time an offer is put in on the marketplace, it extends the clock 30 minutes. So it's not as if you can get in the last, because you want to be transparent as possible and you want to do right by the home seller. And we have fiduciary responsibilities as agents and brokers to make sure that our homeowners get an equitable and as much money as they can within reason on the marketplace. You guys are a little bit of an interesting real estate group. We work with thousands of realtors across the country. I've met, tens of thousands. You guys have an interesting model. You are traditional realtors. Ryan, you come from a development general contractor background. Gabby, seems like you're more into managing Ryan as a full-time job. So walk us through your guys' kind of business plan. It's a model plan, portfolio, however you want to call it.
Yeah. So, we both have been realtors Ryan's been not a realtor, but he's been in the business for 20 years. I've been a realtor for the last almost 19 years. Started out in sales, of course, in 2009, got into the corporate housing business, which is short-term furnished housing. And since 2009, we've built on both ends, a nice clientele base. The corporate housing, of course, is a little bit more sustainable when the markets are a little, iffy. But yeah, we both have been.
I think right now with everything going on in Florida and how the markets are just insane here, our business model for the corporate housing side still works, where, you know, for the average buyer or, you know, investor, you know, they come in and buy a condo that's, you know, $300,000-400,000, and, you know, they can only rent it for 1,500-1,700. The numbers don't make sense on the returns. But on the corporate housing side, where, you know, we're renting them for a lot more money, and as well as, you know, they're furnished, basically they get one bill. They don't have to worry about their utilities, their
it's all inclusive.
internet, everything is there. So our fees are much higher. So therefore, we can still purchase units at these higher prices and still get the returns we want.
Yeah.
And, you know, for our investors that we manage their properties through the corporate housing side, the ones that purchased 5-6 years ago are doing
They're doing really
tremendous.
good.
The ones that have purchased within the last year, they're like, you know, they ask us, why aren't we making the spreads? Well, you know, when you spend double the amount of money on a condo, you know, it's just not there, even though rents have skyrocketed throughout Sarasota, Manatee, Hillsborough, Pinellas counties, where is the big chunk of our business.
Yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. And the only caveat is money was inexpensive while prices skyrocketed. But if you're a cash buyer, it doesn't help you much. So people talk about Miami. Maybe I just live in an echo chamber because we do a lot in Miami and it's a crypto capital. But it feels like Tampa, St. Pete, Pinellas is on fire. And listen, my biggest pet peeve is I've traveled the country, met with real estate brokers in every state, and everybody says, oh, here in blank, we're booming. Everybody thinks they're booming. But it feels like in your neck of the woods, Tampa, St. Pete, it really is exploding. Are you guys feeling that?
Oh, 100%. I mean, listings we're taking are selling 20-30% over asking. I mean, it hasn't slowed down, even with the interest rates on the rise. There's so many cash buyers, but not just cash buyers. There's so many conventional buyers who have a lot of money to play with. And if you have a lot of money to play with, I mean, you're golden.
What's attracting them to your guys' neck of the woods? Is it just
The beaches.
Investment? The beach? What is it?
You have Siesta Key, which is usually ranked in the top 3 beaches in the world almost every year. You have, you know,
Lakewood Ranch.
Siesta.
Lakewood Ranch is huge.
But those beaches have always been there. Like what in the last 4 or 5 years?
You know, I think,
is it foreign investment? Is it all Midwesterners like me coming down there to retire?
Well, in the last 2 years, 3 years, because of COVID, and that Florida has stayed open. There's a lot of New York,
yes,
Northeast money that is coming here in groves. And, you know, they pretty much all say the same thing. I can sell my home in New York, come down here, and I can pay way over the price because I don't have the tax bill, the property taxes. My taxes are 1/3 of what they were in New York.
Yeah. And if they live there in Florida, they can get the homestead exemption.
Exactly. Yes. So
yeah, you guys are killing it down there. So is it putting any pressure on, you know, your middle class blue collar worker? Are they just having
yes,
closer? They have to go more inland.
It's extremely hard. I mean, majority of our buyers right now are just they're pumping the brakes and just renting. Just because, you know, I mean, a majority of them want to stay here in the Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch areas. They don't want to go anywhere else. Now we do have some buyers that have gone more south in the Northport, Port Charlotte area because there's, you know, you get more bang for your buck. It's still very difficult though, and it just seems like it's gotten that much harder.
And Northport, Port Charlotte is basically in between Sarasota and Fort Myers, the 2 big areas for people that don't know the area. But you know, like she said, there's a lot of cash buyers. And the other problem is that 90% of our business up before COVID was working with VA buyers, veterans, first responders, especially because they got the 100% financing.
Mm-hmm.
And today, that's almost gone because buyers are coming in with no appraisal contingencies,
no inspection
periods. And, most VA buyers,
They can't
they
compete.
can't do that,
Can't compete with it.
it's 100% financing. So they have to get that appraisal. And if it doesn't appraise, well, they got to come up with the difference in funds. So it's very tough.
All the safeguards that the industry put on buyers to protect them during this housing explosion have really hindered them.
Yes.
And I get why we did it. I mean, we were all around in 08, 09. We know why we did it. But it's not really relevant today because the supply and demand are just completely different. So, there's been a lot of talk at conferences, when the market slows, I don't see a tremendous amount of data that's saying, I see the interest rate spiking, but I don't see a tremendous amount of data in terms of supply and demand. I actually think from a consumer's perspective, a 5-6 month absorption rate is much better because it brings the joy back to buying a house. I don't think there's a lot of joy in buying anything right now. I've heard talk to a lot of buyers agents, and your heart goes out to people, that maybe, people who are buying their first house. It's just a really bad market. There's a whole generation of buyers who don't realize that in the old days, you could look at a house 2 or 3 times before you bought it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't, let's just buy this sight unseen so we can just get it.
Yeah. And
there was negotiations.
Yeah. And hope you get it.
Today, there's no negotiations. This is the way it is.
Yeah. I was talking to a guy last night in the home warranty industry, and he said, people think because it's a great market that we're just selling home warranties, but no one's buying them just because the seller says the seller doesn't add anything. The seller has all the leverage. Appraisers are down. It's going to be a challenging year for appraisers because most houses have already refied. There's not a lot of there's not inspectors. The houses have already refied. And I think over 40% of homes aren't having inspections now. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, easily.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, that is. So has anybody? So what is the plan? So you've bought the first condo ever been NFT'd in America. I assume it's going to go in the National Register, historic landmark. I'll just assume that's happening. I'm sure you guys have kept it exactly as it was, right?
As far as the NFT, yes. Our plan is to keep everything. The inside unit, we'll do a few upgrades to bring it up to
a few upgrades. Ryan, Gabby's got new appliances. She's got you over there working every day, from what I hear.
Yeah, I like to just stay modest and say it's a few. I don't want her to look like she's crazy.
It was that we were talking about before the offline that it was perfect before you bought it, and now once you bought it, there's a lot of things you got to fix on it immediately.
Yeah, because the new client moving in, they probably won't like this. So you don't like it.
Paint, appliances, new countertops, new vanity in the bathroom, new fans, and new light fixtures, and new faucets.
I will. But to answer your question, it's really opened our eyes to a lot of things, and we're now speaking with our real estate attorney and considering, all of our investment properties that we own. Do we maybe put all these into an NFT and bulk them? And, when the day comes that we want to sell, we just sell it as a package deal or something to that nature.
Interesting.
There's lots of things to think about for sure.
This has definitely blown my mind. I will tell you that when we drove to the horse show in Texas for the 16 hours drive, and I listened to podcasts to try to educate myself on this whole NFT thing. And because up until we started working with you, I never knew a single thing about it.
Yeah, me neither. We literally got, I don't know about Ryan, but I literally got a crash course in like 5 days.
Yeah. It's funny. It's relatively easy to kind of learn the basics of it, but then once you see how much of it there is, it's really scary. I always kind of have this in my mind. I have this, I think it's called a Venn diagram. The crypto circle is like this big circle, and real estate is here, but the little part they kind of overlap. that's the part that realtors need to learn. We don't need to learn
Yes.
everything there is about crypto, but in terms of where the two overlap, I think it's really interesting. Not to get too nerdy on you, but Bored Ape just had a metaverse launch this week that was, if you read about it or listen to a webinar about it, it's really interesting the way they've kind of built the culture around that NFT and built, they did a kind of a metaverse drop, which was super interesting, and they had some codas and other things involved in it, but it's really worth a read if you want to hear more about it. So we got a question
Yeah,
from my buddy Tommy from St. Louis. Actually, he's right down the road from me. We haven't met yet. We're going to go to a crypto hangout.
That's
I'm
cool.
So I saw something compared
equally as
traditionally.
nerdy as us. Yeah. So from a buy perspective, you guys are a little bit kind of the wrong people to ask because you've done hundreds of deals. But from a traditional home buyer's perspective, if you were to put on your home buyer perspective, like just normal buyer, how is the process better or different than a traditional deal?
It was better. It was more efficient because for one, the home inspection was already done. That was done by the seller. So that was uploaded. We could review it, which, of course, we're not too concerned because of what our business model anyway, but
Consider you
nice
gutted the whole place. I'm not sure what you would have needed that for.
I think
so. Just that everything was done prior to the sale, and then the simplicity of just the transaction, watching the sale, and then within the last 20 seconds of the sale, of the clock running out to purchase or for the sale to be final. I mean, that was it. And then we get the documents that Propy sends to us after, the sale's over, and everything's loaded up into the Propy platform and the blockchain. I mean, it was super easy peasy.
so. I think also based in the real estate world right now, and that there's basically every condo house that comes on the market, there's multiple offers, and then you don't know if the agent is playing games on the seller side and everything. Where here is you see what the bidding is going on, and you go up to wherever your happy point is that you want to spend for the real estate. So it's there, it's not like you call the agent and say, hey, my client wants to counter at this price, and she says, okay, well, give me a day because now I need to go back and talk to my client, and during that day she may get 2 or 3 more offers.
Exactly.
And then calls back and say, well, I got 2 more offers and they're better. And so this is more transparent.
The transparency is just amazing.
As far as going through the title and all that, that's already done. I think it makes things more simple in that respect. It was a very smooth transition from the buy, collecting the title, where it will become, I think, interesting in the future, and we're excited to be a part of it, is when financing comes into the picture. I think that's when, I'm not sure a home inspection that's done by the seller is going to be okay. I'm not sure how you're going to incorporate appraisals now into this. Where will that fit in? Because, ever since the crash, you can't pick your own appraiser anymore. So, I did see a question on about a 4-point.
What does that mean, a 4-point inspection?
4-point inspection is something that is wanted by the insurance company. So it determines what kind of credits or no credits they're going to give you towards your insurance policy, which we didn't have one.
Tell them what the 4 points are.
It's roof, plumbing, electrical, AC. So those are, so it just determines what kind of credits your insurance provider is going to give you towards the property, to insure the property. So,
and you in Florida, you want that 100% because insurance rates are through the roof.
Yes, between flooding and between hurricanes.
Right.
So,
but we got that after we bought it.
So
sorry, go ahead.
No, so we talked about from the buyer side. From the seller side, where it's really interesting to Tommy's point is everything's transparent, everything's on my schedule, so I can get my own inspection by a certified independent inspection person. I can get my appraiser same way. But then I can get the house listed, and when the day goes on listed for sale, that at the end of that day I get funded. And so the data, that's a better decision versus me just saying, I think I might give you X amount, but once it doesn't come back for appraisal, or once it comes back in a different zip code than we thought, then it creates a lot of confusion and lack of transparency with it. So into an NFT, smart contract executed, they pay wallet to wallet. The smart contract says this is move in date, this is move out date. You agree to all these terms within the smart contract. That's going to be really an interesting piece to see where Web3 takes over some Web 2 components. And there'll always be Web 2 components. If it's easier just to sign a lease digitally, why put it on the chain? Why do all that? But from corporate housing perspective, you put it on chain, it's public. Everybody can see it. The corporate can see it. The home, the renter, the person living there can see it. You can see it. All the smart contracts are built into it. And then if you were to ever go and sell it, all those rentals are there for public consumption, so you can prove your income versus, otherwise.
Right.
And I think that's very big for the corporate. That's actually very big for any investor, because
Right.
everybody's going to always question, are your rents true?
Yeah, they always want to see the hard numbers.
Are you really getting that
That's why if you put that in an NFT and it's rented and it's on chain, even if it's not on a major chain, you can do an ether scan and say, hey, listen, here's the rental units, here's who rented them, this is what they paid.
Yeah.
That transparency, while it initially rubs people the wrong way in real estate, in the end, it's going to be really, really interesting. I was talking to some companies here at the convention who are looking at putting credit, or basically versions of people's credit, with their approval when they're ready to buy, onto a chain where it doesn't take hard inquiries. It's a much different process. It's going to be really interesting to see how that evolves. So we got a question here. Hello, Adam. This is from Ariel. We know Ariel. Could we address the main benefits for buyers versus the traditional process? Maybe instead of dollar amount auction fees, how much percentage of the property value for the buyers are we speaking about? So from the buy side, it's zero. There's not a lot. Maybe conversion fees, Ariel, in terms of taking fiat to convert to crypto, which is usually less than half a point. So the buy side, there's very little impact. The sell side, there's a little more impact. You have to pay for the title and inspection up front. You pay for your inspector. You pay for your appraisal. Also, what happens if the buyers want to get their own inspection? It's a good question. If in the Propy platform, we usually try to list the home 2 to 3 weeks before it goes live for sale. If buyers want to bring their inspector to the house, we believe that most homeowners will be okay with it. And again, it's a good question, but the process isn't built to create gray areas or ways to hide bumps and bruises on a house. It's actually to be more transparent. So if you said, hey, my house is going to go live, the last 2 NFTs we've had 2 open houses. They were open to view 2 or 3 weeks before the sale date. So a buyer could have brought whomever they wanted to the house, to answer your question. So we think on the sell side, Ariel, to list your home and sell it through an NFT, we think it's all in. It's usually around 1%, maybe a little bit less, depending on the value of the house. It's actually dangerous to do that because on lower end homes, it's a little more than 1%. On higher end homes, it's less than 1%.
He asked that on the buyer side?
No, on the buyer side, you don't pay much.
Right,
On the sell side,
the seller side, it's like 1%.
Put it into the corporate structure to do everything. It's usually around there. So that's the half hour. All right, let's answer these 2 questions. We'll be done. Do NFT homes on the Propy platform get listed on the MLS? Was the home that you guys looked at listed on the MLS?
Yes, that's how we found it.
Okay. So where does a traditional real estate agent fit into this? Traditional real estate agents is relevant as ever. This couple is probably not a great example because they are agents. If they were a traditional buyer, their agent would have found their home for them on the MLS, would help them to the process. And on the sell side, the agent's more relevant than ever to walk them through the process help them list their home, get ready for listing, find the right price, make sure they get title and escrow and inspection. So the real estate agent is, we think, more relevant than ever. And in every home we've NFT'd on the Propy platform, we've had a realtor list the home. So this time we didn't have a buyer realtor because obviously you guys are realtors, but we traditionally would have that. So and commission, April, between the home seller and the agent is between the two of them. Propy is the platform to which the home is sold on. We don't get involved in the commission or the listing agreement between home seller and agent. So Propy is just the platform. Think of us as an open sea for homes. So if anybody wanted to reach out to you guys to talk about general construction, general contracting, let me think about this: rentals, traditional rentals, short-term rentals, to buy a home, sell a home, rehab a home, how would they find you guys? And you have a couple sites.
Yes, they can reach us at our website, which is channelrealestate-investments.com. You can also reach us by phone, 941-586-6234 or 305-519-4620.
Give me the 941 number again.
Yeah, sure. 941-586-6234. And Ryan's number is 305-519-4620. And or if you want to know more about corporate rentals, you can go to gmcorpsuites.com. That's where we have all of our corporate rentals, and we'll add the NFT soon on that site.
Awesome.
Soon as it's done, as soon as it's renovated.
We really found the process and everything very, very interesting. So if anybody wants to even just shoot us a text message,
Yes.
or find us on LinkedIn or whichever social media site they use for questions, we're more than happy to help them, talk to them, how maybe we can all generate business together and work as a team. So
awesome. And it's Channel, not Chanel. I've been saying Chanel.
That's okay.
okay. If it was Chanel, I'd be sitting on a big boat right now.
I'll be with you. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. It's been nice getting to know you through the process. Lovely couple. Anybody has any questions, they know exactly what to talk about. Reach out to them. But thanks for coming on. I know you're super busy with the horses and the family and everything, and traveling the globe. So thanks for taking time for us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Anytime. Thank you.
See you soon.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.